So today I want to talk about one possibility for really getting deep into editing the individual drum sounds. What I have here is a small project of mine. It's not finished or anything. Let's just listen to the first scene. Okay, not too fancy. Let's go into the drum editing mode. So for that, I change the note and press Shift and the pad I want to edit. And now you have the general editing functions. You can adjust the output level, the pitch in semitones. Okay, stuff that's probably a good idea to do. Then you can adjust reverb, and that is quite a lot. And you can fine-tune it, pan it, and set the delay. And this envelope mode basically means if it's set to no sustain. So the no sustain mode here means that if you want the sound to decay naturally, even if the key remains pressed, so the pad, then you set it to no sustain, which is natural sustain, so nothing, no artificial sustain. Basically, that's what it means. Okay. So we can edit each of these sounds that way. So for every pad, we can set the values differently, which is to be expected. Now, if you have, for example, here we have the kick selected, and if you then press Enter, you get into this menu. So in this instrument select menu, you can basically go into all the presets and change out, for example, the kick for another kick, for a wholly different kick. And you can give it a name and stuff like that. So what we want to do is use the instrument edit function and then pressing Enter. So what you see here is first we start off with tabs, and there are quite a number of tabs. The first tab, Common, obviously sets the common parameters, and let's take a look at that. So it says, well, on this pad it's in the category of kicks. So here's a snare, there's a tom, and so on and so forth. You can set the level. And that is something you could already set in the other menu, so nothing new here. And then you can specify the pitch that is relative to the original pitch of the instrument, so some more pitch fine-tuning and even more pitch fine-tuning. And then you have the possibility of altering the width in which the pitch is randomly changed each time the note is sounded. If you do not want the pitch to change randomly, set this to 0. And this is just read from the reference manual. But the idea is obviously to just give you an overview of the possibilities here. So you can have a randomly changing pitch, you can have a randomly changing panning, and you can pan that differently for left and right. Now the assign type can be set to multi or single, and so if the sounds continue to ring and you press again, then you can have both sounds layering over each other, or simply change it to single, and then you have a bit like a mute group, then each sound stands on its own. So only one sound can be played at a time if we're in single mode, and if not, then more sounds can be played at a time. I talked about envelope mode already. So this is really interesting. So the WMT velocity control says that you can have a different wave being played when this is set to on if you press with a different force. So really what's possible is to have a different sample for a very hard press or a different sample for a very gentle touch of the pad. And so this is really a dynamic control, and So it doesn't seem to be doing too much here. You can set it to on, you can set it to random, or you can set it to off. So what you see here is that we have 4 tabs called wave 1, 2, 3, and wave 4. And there's the same information in there for all of these tabs. So the first one here is set to on, the others are set to off. Point is, you can layer up to 4 different wave files on top of each other. Now, these wave files are can be chosen from samples, or they can be chosen from the internals. So as the percussive and drum sounds on the MC-707 are sample based, so this kick already has its own sample, the kick sample. And you can see here there are different samples if you play the pads. Now you see here that the sample for the kick is sample number 570. The point is there is a whole range of samples to choose from in the internal banks. And they're not only percussive samples, right? They can be any kind of sample. So if we quick scroll through here, you see we have footsteps, we have a helicopter, gallop, bells, xylophones. So really everything under the sun, actually. And now the idea here is, I guess the idea is not to simply say, okay, so I want to exchange my kick for a bell or a xylophone, even though it's well possible. The idea is, so this first wave is always set, and it's always set to the instrument which you would expect it to be. Whereas these others are set to off, but you can assign your own waveforms, and then you could layer up, for example, drums and then helicopters, obviously, and snares and so on and so forth. You can really layer up your drum sound, your percussive sound, in order to reach some sort of desired effect. If we go here, you see that the wave gain for wave 1 is set to 0 decibels, and these others are set to a lower value, lower than 0. They're all set to -12. So I think this already shows the intent that these are used for layering and not so much for exchanging it altogether. I mean, you could set it to 0. You can do any sort of ratio that you really want. Every wave can have its own modulation, so you can set modulation to on or off. And you can give the modulation color, you can give it a pitch, a depth, panning, you can have random panning. So in layering, you really have an enormous amount of possibilities. And there's something really interesting here. So if we go to the delay mode, right? So we have a normal delay, we have a hold delay, and yeah, 2 other variants here, which I haven't checked out yet. This delay is not the delay that you would expect it to be. So this delay determines how far the sound that you chose here for wave number 2, how far that is removed in terms of time from the original wave, which is in wave 1. So let's say we turn this on, and we have okay, so let's say we have a piano here to make it more prominent, and now we go into the delay mode normal, and we sync it. We sync it to a quarter beat. Right, so this is really interesting. I mean, in a way, you would probably expect it to have both sounds sounding at the same time. but they don't have to be. They can be separated. And if you use no delay here, one delay here, one there, and one there, you can actually create arpeggios of 4 notes, right? So you could create either complex percussive sounds simply by holding a key pressed, or you could really arrange instruments in arpeggio. So that's something that's possible here. But I don't want... no key here at all. And then we go into the filters. Every wave can have a low pass, a high pass, a band pass, a high pass, and a peaking filter. And then there are 2 low pass filters as alternatives here. So we keep it to low pass filter. And here you can decide, I mean, really this is what you can do with any sort of filter, right? You can decide which cutoff frequency you want. There are a number of velocity curves, and that is something you really want to look into the documentation for that. You have these different filters, and they can have velocity curves, how quickly they are applied, and they're linear curves where x is equal to y, they're exponential curves, they're logarithmic curves, and logistical curves. So you have a whole range of curve types really to work with here, and that's really interesting. And basically the same goes for resonance, right? So you can have different kinds of resonance levels, and they will interact with the filters on top that we have. So you can emphasize the portion of the sound in the region of the cutoff frequency, adding character to the sound. So this can cause or even produce oscillation, which basically means the sound is going to distort. So this is what is just read from the manual here. So yeah, go crazy with filtering. And then we have the envelopes, and so if we scroll through here, it's really, I don't know what you expect, but it's really probably what you would expect this for the filter envelopes, here. So we have the depth of the filter envelope. We have 7 types of curves for the filter envelope. We have sensitiveness. So you can specify if you want keyboard playing dynamics to affect the filter for the envelope depth. And so you can choose more positive or more negative values, reaching from -100 to +100. And you have a sensitivity for the envelope time. Okay, so here you have the pitch envelope, and you can set the depth, the velocity, right? You can set the times for it. And so really you can set different parts of the envelope to different levels, gain levels. And so you can really sculpt your pitch envelopes. And here you can go into the filter envelopes. You have a depth. You have one of these envelope curves. They're the same sort of curves I talked about already. So you have these 7 curve types going from linear, exponential, logistic, and so on and so forth. So you can really go into sculpting this quite a bit. And here we have envelope time 1, 2, 3, 4. And each of these specifies a region in the filter envelope, and then you can set gain levels for these different regions. So again, enormously finely grained control. And then last but not least, you have the amp envelope, so the amplification envelope, and here again you have your slivers of time, and then your levels. And you can change your sound like that. And so have a great day and see you soon. Bye bye.